Tasha B.
And Taylor D.
And we're How to Be Real. And we're up here at Soul Collective. And it's pretty live right now.
It is. There's a lot of action. It's popping
a lot of
off.
Movement, a lot of things going on. So if you do hear a door or
some drumming.
Or maybe some laughing or some joking around.
Some snaps.
Something going on. It's just Soul Collective. That's just the vibe. And you should really come check it out one day.
Right. It's down here on 21st and Broadway. So
right by Ponchos.
Right by Ponchos. Oh my gosh, get yourself some tacos, some nachos at Ponchos.
Yeah,
because they're great.
The guacamole is bomb. So come check it out.
Right. So
see what we about,
Yes.
Hear the real thing for yourself. But you might get a little taste in the background. So that's all that is. Don't mind that.
Yeah. So thank you for joining How to Be Real on Radio Soul. Today is February 18th.
Yep.
2016, and we are just gonna dive in.
Yeah.
Let's just dive into this. So, Tosh, you were telling me about a conversation on Facebook.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so I was scrolling through Facebook today, as I do every day. That's my thing. I
multiple times.
So, and as I'm on Facebook, I come across Charlamagne the God, another video about him. You know, he's everywhere.
Right.
And
definitely.
He was having a conversation with Tommy, Tomi, 23-year-old journalist. She has her own show. I forget, it's called something Tommy. I think it's just called Tommy.
Yeah.
And so she had Charlamagne on there, and they were basically, well, the reason she had him on there is because on his show, The Breakfast Club, he had... I'm looking at the camera the whole time. Anyway, but on The Breakfast Club, he had basically some other guests on there, and they were talking about Tommy and what her response was to Beyonce's Formation.
Right. That's why because that's where I heard about her from. Was from her talking all this mess.
So
about
she had that
controversial
video, and so she had Charlamagne on there because on his show they were talking about it, and basically they were calling her a dumb donkey, and she got a whole bunch of flack because of what Charlamagne was saying on his show.
Because he does not care. He keeps it real. He keeps it,
and he was the one that called her donkey. Damn. So of course he keeps it way real.
Right.
So basically, what Tommy was saying about the thing was she couldn't get behind Beyonce because she supported the Black Panther Party and Malcolm X, and she felt like the song was racist and anti-police and terrorist. So it was those things that Charlamagne was like, okay, you have no idea what you're talking about. You need to get educated, and that was kind of his stance that he was taking.
Right.
But it was really interesting because to hear her point of view was basically that the Black Panthers were known for being violent, like they weren't non-violent, and she was like she kept saying like, I can get behind Dr. Martin Luther King, I can get behind his ideals, but I can't get behind Malcolm X and the Black Panther Party. And I'm like, okay, her reasoning was that because they had some violence and some people were violent, right? But what Charlamagne was saying was she was also calling Beyonce anti-police and just saying that
all those posts
exactly that her song was anti-police. So what he was telling her was like, okay, so you're saying that we shouldn't be anti-police, even though there are police that kill people pretty much every day here in America.
White, black, brown, yellow, they really, color. People, they kill people. Let's just be honest.
Right. So his point
they protect people. A lot of them are good, but.
Exactly.
And there are cops that kill people.
We should hate all police, but
not
the police have a reputation for, beat your ass now and ask questions later type thing. Or, you're going to get arrested because you didn't use your blinker and then you're going to be found dead in a cell. We're all scared. I mean,
Not saying that there's necessarily been okay, maybe it hasn't necessarily been a spike in the deaths, but a lot more attention has been
to light a lot more now,
and that's what we need. Like that's what social media is for, is to make the world feel smaller. So that's why it's a good thing. But okay, so cut back to
so her whole point was you shouldn't be anti-police because not all police are bad, right? Okay. So then what Charlamagne was saying was like, okay, that's logical for you to think that way, right? But by that logic, you can't say that the Black Panthers were a terrorist group, which is what she was saying,
right?
Because some of them were violent. You can't label the whole group of terrorists just because some individuals decided to take it to that level.
Right.
That doesn't mean that the Black Panther Party stood for that, just like it doesn't mean that all cops kill people or beat people up,
Right,
so
exactly.
You have to, if you're going to have a logic like that and you're going to tell us not to be mad at the cops, you can't call these people a terrorist group.
I don't feel like you can compare the Black Panther Party to the police either, because like how we were talking about earlier, the Black Panther Party was created to protect the black communities that weren't being protected by the police from like the KKK and other hate groups that you know, because of course KKK has like the most light that has been shed on it, but don't think that there aren't little hate groups, many hate groups, many churches, many little societies dedicated to hating a certain kind of race or a certain kind of
or
people.
even other religions,
other religions, anything.
Gay people, there's churches that are, you know, stuff happens.
Right, stuff happens.
Say it like that.
Right, exactly. So it's like you can't even compare that if you haven't done the research and don't really even know why the group was set into place. Like the KKK was set into place to harm and hate black people and people of color, all colors, and
they killed millions.
And they killed, yes, exactly, like purposefully. The Black Panthers, if, like you were saying, if they saw somebody like Sandra Bland getting beat up or whatever, you know, or getting dragged out of her car for standing her ground, obeying like her natural born right, I mean, they would come in and intervene and take care of the situation.
And if that meant violence, they had guns, you know what I mean? And it was really just a
like
defense.
If you're coming at us with guns, we're protecting ourselves.
Exactly.
We're protecting our right to bear arms. And those people, they knew the law, they knew all the laws.
Yeah,
that's
all
why
the guns were obtained legally with permits, and they knew the carry laws in their state. Like they knew what was going on. They were aware of the laws.
They were educated.
And that was another thing that they intervened on, even if it wasn't a situation to where maybe they caught it early and this person doesn't know their rights, the person that gets pulled over doesn't know their rights, they would intervene. And once they seen you out there floundering with the cops, seeing you, seeing your rights infringed upon, and you're getting your car illegally searched, they're gonna say, "Hey, wait, you have rights.
Right?
They can't do this to you. You know what
They'll
I mean?
come
so
up,
even if
say,
it's not violent,
my
it's
sister,
just like,
let me educate you real quick, because this police officer does not know with what he speaks." No.
Exactly. Just let you know, like, hey, he can't search your car without your permission, sister. Get back in the car. It's okay. You haven't done nothing wrong. And then it's like, I have a gun, so I dare you to say something to me, Mr. Officer.
And if the cop like instigated, because a lot of the times I'm sure like police members or like gang, like, you know, the KKK gangs or the other little hate gangs that would approach them during those times, you know, if it broke out into a violent thing, I'm sure half the time, if not more, that was instigated by the hate group or like the hater, you know what I mean?
Or they didn't catch it in time and they're already walking up on a beating, and
exactly.
what are you gonna do? You see somebody about to get killed by a police officer, you have to intervene,
right?
And you know what I mean? And maybe it wasn't right. I'm not saying that everything that they did was right.
Exactly.
I'm not saying maybe they did. Maybe some of them did go rogue and say, you know what, just kill all cops, because it happens. You can't control, but at the same time, level of danger, I do agree with Tommy. You cannot judge the mass by just a trickle of people. Like, you can't do that. You know what I mean? So where it is, you know, dang, you're scared of cops. You're scared of all cops, but you don't respect the cops that are hurting people and killing people. Those are the cops, you know, that's those cops. Right. But it does make you more aware. So I do understand how you can say, okay, maybe it is a little dangerous. The Black Lives Matter or the Black Panther Party was a little dangerous, and maybe it did intimidate people. But at the most, I feel like that's, looking at the history, that's all it should be. It's something that you're intimidated by, because it was a radical idea that, you know, these people should have rights. People should be able to vote. That was one of the main things that you've seen, like, you know, publicized that they were really behind was,
you shouldn't be separated.
You know, a colored right to vote and unity. And it was like a powerful, you know, it's a powerful image still to this day when you see someone with a turtleneck and a black beret going like this. Right. It's like, ooh, dang.
That's why there's so much controversy and talk about it now, because the Black Panther Party made so much difference, created WIC, which is still around to this day. I mean, they made schools, they made homeschools to the point where they didn't need to go and be taught certain, you know, misleading and misinformed history lessons. You know what I mean? They didn't have to go there and be tormented. You know, they could learn in their own communities, and which is how it should be. That's how it is in a lot of like tight-knit cultured communities, like, you know, in the freaking Indian communities and Asian communities. Like, I feel like that's how they learn, you know. That's how they continue their knowledge, and how they're able to keep all their wealth within them, their communities. And it's like, okay, so when everybody else does it, it's okay. When, you know, white people do it, it's okay. But when black people do it, and they're proud of their race, when they're having black pride, it's a problem.
It's threatening. It threatens people.
Yeah.
And honestly, a lot of the things that I was reading, like of course Twitter, and I like Facebook because usually you'll get like someone will make a Facebook post and they'll post all the relevant Twitter posts, you know, that back up kind of what they're saying. So I was able to read a lot of like, you know, both positive and negative feedback on both Kendrick Lamar and Beyonce's performances. And it's like, you know, you do see the people that are like, yeah. But then you do see those people who are saying it's racist.
Oh my
and
gosh.
you know,
like, yeah.
I feel like the only reason why someone's saying, like, you know, Black Lives Matter with their fist up and, you know, we have rights, or, you know what I mean? Police are killing us. Stop killing us. Hands up. Don't shoot. The only way, you know, we need to unite. Everybody get in formation. The only way that that's going to seem racist to you is if you feel like a minority.
Right.
And
like
the reason
your
why...
version of what a minority should be.
Exactly. Or no, what it means to be a minority in America. It means that you're not represented. Okay. You know what I mean? In your legal system, and maybe even in Hollywood, you know, you feel like, you know, you look to these things, you look to the government, and you look to see like who's in the courtroom and who's like making these laws and who's giving these speeches at colleges when people are graduating, and you see that they don't look like you. Yeah. And you know what I mean?
The true definition of a minority.
Exactly.
Like, no one else like me.
Exactly. Like I was talking about earlier when I was saying, like, you know, a little kid might see a movie about astronauts and really be inspired and really interested in being an astronaut, but because they don't feel represented in that movie, or because they feel like, oh, now the only image I see is white people as astronauts because there were literally no other race of astronaut in this movie, it's like, okay, now I feel like that I can't do it. I feel like it's too far of a reach for me, when really all you have to do is get the same education they did and you'll be in it.
And even before you can realize that, like, okay, because you might see the movie, but you might not realize that, you know, okay, maybe I can't be the astronaut until you get a little older. Even with your own experience that you were telling me earlier about, like, when you would be trying to play Spice Girls with your girlfriend. Yes. You know, that's an immediate, that you can understand that at that age, at that time, you're like, oh my gosh, you're right. I do not physically look like that. I mean, like, so yeah, you can tell your story. I mean, you can tell the Spice Girls story. So, okay, so you guys know what I'm talking about.
The Spice Girls story. Everyone knows when I was in kindergarten, well, when we were all the 90s babies, when we were that age, you know, we were growing up, little youngins, the Spice Girls were hot. You know, if you want to be my lover, you got to get with my friends. Friendship never ends. Okay. So, you know, I used to always want to play Spice Girls at school with the little girls at my school, and you know, I would always try to pick it on like however I was dressed that day. So if I was wearing like a little dress, I'd be like, oh, I'm gonna be Baby Spice. Right. Or if I was wearing like some little shorts and a tank top with some tennis shoes, I'd be like, okay, I want to be Sporty Spice. So every day, you know, you try to do that. And sometimes I would be a different Spice Girl. But normally, like literally, like 8 times out of 10, I had to be Scary Spice because somebody would bring it up. Like, oh, I would say, like, oh, I want to be Sporty Spice today. And they would say, like, no, your hair, you're Scary Spice because you look just like her. You have to be her. You can't be her. I look like her. You look like her. So you have to be her. And then it did cause me, like you said, to look at the Spice Girls and be like, well, I don't really look like that or that. And I mean, if I look like anyone, it is her with the crazy hair and the light. You know, she's brown. You know, she looks like me.
You weren't even thinking about the physical. You were just thinking about
their personalities and their style. I wasn't thinking about that.
Their character. Exactly. Like truly, you were just like, okay, so this is how I'm feeling. So I'm resonating more with her. Exactly. This is what I'm like, you know. And it's not until somebody else who has that perception in their mind. And you know, we're kids, so we say, you know, we say whatever. The truisms, you know, and they just pointed out, boom, bam, that's not you, because that's not how you look. That's not your physical.
And then it really caused me to look at myself to where I didn't, you know, I feel like that was like the point where I started to notice how I look different from other people. And it wasn't like a bad thing, but it was, you do start to notice yourself a little bit more. You start to pay a little bit more attention to your appearance because you're like, okay, dang, I never realized that I don't look like any of these people. I look like her. Like, dang, I never thought about it like that. Now I'm looking for that. Now I'm looking for where I'm represented in ways of the world.
Like limits on you. It's putting you in this box, like before you even realize before it gets that deep, like you're, I don't know, like you said, in kindergarten, so you don't even know like how deep it really is, but you're still able to understand, like, there's something going on here. Like, I don't feel like it didn't necessarily make you feel bad, but it made you feel limited.
Yeah.
Like, before you could actually say that, before you could actually interpret it,
even understand that.
Yeah,
it still made me feel like, okay, now I have to see, do I look like I could do this?
Right.
And before it's like, oh, I want to do this because I feel like this. But you start to go off your feelings, and you have to go more of like other people's feelings and other people's perception of you. And it's like, why am I thinking about with that? And I mean, you still see it to this day. Like, have you ever had someone like, I don't know, like maybe you tell them what you're mixed with and like, you don't look like that. Yeah. Or like you tell them something that you do, like, oh, I like to read books. You don't look like you read. Right. And it's like, okay, what is what do I need to have a book right here to look like I read? Like, what? I don't get that. You know what I mean? So it's like, looks still play such a big part on not only what people think of other people, but what other people do because of what other people think. Yeah. And it's like, oh, I have to be dressed this way every time I step out because everyone's used to seeing me this way. Or, just whatever, just little things. Like, I have to do this because the look. Right. You know what I mean?
To fit in, to be a part of the norm. And I think that, that's what Beyonce and Kendrick Lamar are doing, like bringing back that sense of Black pride through mainstream, because they are two humongous mainstream artists that people look up to. White, Black, yellow, all across the board, people know who they are all over the world, international artists. Yep. And I feel like it even though, yes, many artists have been talking about the same things that they're saying for years and years and years, it's like really amazing, and it feels good to see a mainstream, like damn near praised artist to speak out on a social injustice.
And even more than just their celebrity, it was the platforms that they used. Beyonce was at the Super Bowl, Kendrick was at the Grammys. You know what I mean? So it wasn't like it was a performance on BET, or it was a performance at a college football game
in Indiana.
You know what I mean? It was really the Super Bowl, a huge stage, and I think that's why it did get the controversy and the praise and just the acknowledgement that it did get, was because there were so many people watching. You know what I mean? Everyone watches the Super Bowl. Exactly. Even rednecks watch the Super Bowl. So you had to see that.
Yes, and
if you watch the Super Bowl, you've seen it,
and it's important. I mean, that's why what they're doing was important to lift the situations that you've went through, that I went through, that many other brown, Black, and all other type races have gone through growing up, and realizing their difference because of white being the default race in every media you ever see. You know what I mean? It's important to feel prideful. It's important to have confidence in yourself. Yeah. And I feel like they're bringing that back and giving an opportunity for people to want to learn and research about the history of the Black Panther Party, the history of being Black,
and just their history. You know what I mean? And it's important not only this month, but really all year.
Yes.
So I mean, it is cool that this is happening in Black History Month, but I really hope to see it continue all year and just really from here on out. Yeah. Because I think, in a way, like, I mean, of course, Beyonce and Kendrick both are, encouraging Black pride, but I think self-pride is something that it really needs to be talked about. So I think, while they are specifically mentioning Black pride, I'm sure they believe in self-pride and self-love. You know what I mean? But because these two individuals happen to be Black, it is Black pride. Because, and it's Black History Month, and it's like a really turbulent time. Black Lives Matter movement and everything's popping right now. So that's why they're picking it that way. But the way I take it, I'll just say my take on it.
Please.
I think it was telling people to be proud of who you are, period. It's Beyonce telling her real roots, saying she eats collard greens. I like my baby hair afroed up with little baby hairs at the edge. I like these things. I like my culture.
I like my man's big nose.
Exactly. I like me and my family and what I have in my culture. And so I think that it is, you know what I mean? It doesn't matter who you are, what your culture is. Right. If you even have a family, shoot. If you got hair, maybe you rocking the bald head, girl. Right. Rock it. Love yourself and be prideful in that. And I think that to me, that's what I took from it. You know what I mean? It was uplifting because I am half Black, so it definitely was, yes, girl. Baby hair and afros, that was my part. But at the same time, it was like, you know what?
It loved on the other parts of you.
Exactly. Too. It made me feel just proud to be me, and I felt like that's what everybody should take from it. Yes. You know what I mean? Don't take any hatefulness. And I mean, if you are a cop, please stop killing people. If you're not killing people, continue to not kill people.
If you're a good cop, continue to spread all of your positivity and goodness on everybody and all of your. If you see wrongs going on,
and please really be the one to have the back.
Right. Thank you for your good service. Thank you for being that loyal and respectful and responsible and loving, caring cop out to truly protect and serve. Thank you so much. You know what I mean? And I feel like, you know, what Beyonce and Kendrick were doing, I don't feel like was disrespectful to any of the veterans who have fought for us. I feel like it was a beautiful display for them, like you said, to be yourself and be proud of who you are and be proud to be joined and with all of these beautiful colors and all these beautiful people. Be happy to be joined with them in this safe, free country. You know what I mean? And be proud to be yourself in this country, because we have that right. And I feel like Beyonce and Kendrick, they're displaying that right. They are. And bringing out love, and that's exactly what we need right now in all parts of the world.
Exactly. And so, you know, that's what How to Be Real stands for, honestly. And, you know, whether you agree specifically with every single word that somebody says or does in their song or in their video, I mean, that doesn't matter. You don't have to agree with the entire video. Right. Maybe if you do look up the history of the Black Panthers and maybe you still don't agree, I don't know why you wouldn't agree, but if you still don't agree with it, I still think that that's not the message of the song. The message of the song is not, oh, be a Black Panther, I'm a Black Panther, kill cops. It wasn't the message. The message was, look, we're gonna be okay because we love ourselves and we're gonna keep loving ourselves. You know what I mean? So it's like, we know what's going on. Right. And I think it was another thing, like you said, it's big to have these two celebrities actively talking about it and bringing it to everyone's attention. Right. Because we have known about it and they've known about it. We've all known about it for a long time. And now the people who refuse to pay it attention are forced to deal with it. And I think that's the flack we're catching. You know, we're catching that flack of like, oh, you know, I was trying to ignore racism in America. I usually just brushed it off like, oh, it doesn't happen every day. Right. But when you get on Facebook and you see a young Black kid gunned down for no reason and it's a video with proof right in your face, point of view camera from the cop's badge, and you're like, oh, crap, that's wrong. Now I have to acknowledge that something's wrong.
Right. Exactly. And I feel like that is huge. Like, just, you know, if you are somebody out there listening and watching and you have friends, even like just for us, and we come across people, or you have friends and you come across people who don't understand how you feel, or you don't understand how we feel, you know what I mean? Ask. And it's okay to talk about it. It's okay to be open and acknowledge what's going on. I mean, and you don't have to know what to say. You don't have to say the right thing. But honestly, for anybody who doesn't understand, even for us, like, I feel like it's even something for me that I have to do too for myself, you know, because sometimes I don't understand certain things that other people do. You know what I mean? I think it's important to just keep those lines of communication open, and especially for people who have been hurt by racism or sexism or anything like that. I feel like it's important for them and us to be open as well, to hear everybody out too, and to be okay with talking about how it made us feel. Exactly. You know, I think that's definitely what the Black Lives Matter movement and what Beyonce and Kendrick and standing up for yourself, that's what we're trying to get across. I feel like that's the true message of what we're trying to get across.
That's what I appreciated about the way Charlamagne handled that conversation with Tommy in that interview that I mentioned earlier, was that he did attack her on his show, but when he was on her show, he kept it respectful. She would cut him off and he would just be like, no, you know what? I'm on your show, let me let you talk. Right. And even though what she was saying was still, you know, they ended up agreeing to disagree, because of course she kept saying, we're just not going to agree. Right. And she ended up, you know, obviously not listening to what he had to say. Right. So, and Charlamagne, he just was like, because there is a certain time where you're like, okay, I am trying to get my point across, but this person is not listening. And it's like, you know, there comes a point where you just have to say, you know what, let's just agree to disagree, because arguing forever isn't even going to change your stance. It's not going to change my stance. Yeah. So we're just never going to agree. Right. And there comes a point where you just have to say that and just respectfully end the conversation. And that's pretty much how it ended, where it was like, you know, we don't agree. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for having me. Okay, bye. And I think
it's got to continue pressing your message.
Exactly.
How you can.
Exactly. And then maybe do your own video response to that. And you know what I mean? It doesn't have to be the name calling.
It doesn't.
The racial slur throwing back at each other. Like, we don't have to do that to have
spreading
a conversation.
More hatred.
Exactly. Or just like, you know, really hating something because you don't understand it.
Right.
And I mean, you know, you could feel in your heart that a person's dead wrong, but at the same time, what sense does it make to waste your energy and your time to tell this person off?
Right.
Really waste your whole day, like, in a comment section going back and forth with a person. Like, it doesn't make any sense. They're not going to change their mind. You're not going to change your mind. Why waste the time? You know, why not just say, hey, look, I have to say this to you because you're wrong. I'm going to just say this, and then I'm going to leave it at that.
Because, sometimes you won't change somebody's mind in a second. Or sometimes you won't leave a conversation feeling like, you know, okay, we're perfectly in understanding with each other. A lot of times that won't happen. Sometimes it won't happen. But at least you did put that effort out to have a conversation about it.
And sometimes you plant that seed to where you might, maybe one thing, you know, you say something, and if you say it calmly, you know, if you can say it, you say it when their ears are open, you know what I mean? And if you're yelling at someone and calling them a racial slur, whether it be a white person, Hispanic person, white person, black person, it doesn't matter. When as soon as you throw out something that offends that person, their ears turn off, and they're not hearing anything you're saying. So if you keep it respectful while their ears are open, you might not change their mind right then, like you said, but who knows? They might read what you said and then go to work, you know, get on their lunch break and be like, well, dang, what I read this morning on the way to work, homegirl was right. I mean, some people do get treated differently. Maybe I will think about it. And maybe, you know, a lot of the times people change their minds on their own, you know what I mean? To where it's like, oh, I got some new information, now I'm changing my opinion. Not because someone's telling me you need to think like this. That never works. You know what I mean? It never works.
Plant the seed. Maybe you're not supposed to be the one to watch it grow. Maybe you're supposed to just help water it.
Maybe you're not even the seed. Maybe you're a little bit of watering. You know what I mean? Maybe the seed's already been planted and they just need a little bit of fertilizer. So, you know what I mean? It's
go out there and be fertilizer, y'all.
Exactly. Cultivate, you know, make somebody's mind grow. You want to grow each other and learn each other and, you know, educate. You know, we're trying to help each other. And it's not a race thing. It's a us thing. And that's really honestly what I hoped everyone would take from the formation was that, you know what I mean? She's not excluding anybody. She's just speaking to her own because it's familiar. So it's not to put anyone down. It's not to say she's going to, you know, if she says everyone get information and you hop in line, she's not going to tell you to move.
Right.
She's going to say, oh, shoot.
Come on, sister, brother,
exactly.
All
like, y'all are with us. Cool.
Right,
everybody's in formation. There, you know, it's like we're setting an example.
Let's study each other, like you said.
Exactly. And make songs and music that our kids you won't be, you know, feeling weird about your daughter dancing to it. If I saw my little niece dancing to Formation, I wouldn't even be mad. You know, I'd be like, oh, I like this song too. Turn it up.
Until the little freaking fried chicken Red Lobster part come on, I'm like, you ain't taking nobody to Red Lobster.
That's true. Yeah,
no, man.
I forgot about that part. I don't know how I forgot about that viral part, but I sure forgot.
Right.
Oh my God.
I mean, you know, sometimes, you know, she's still Beyonce. She got to sneak a little consumerism in there, but it's okay. It's okay. You know, she does. Okay. We still, thanks, B.
Thanks for the song. Kendrick. It was an effort. But yeah, and then also, like you said, like the whole, she ain't no role model. Okay? Beyonce's Beyonce, and she's a great person, great woman. We love B. But you shouldn't want to be her. You should want to be you.
Be you.
And I think
bigger message.
When people criticize the person, and you know what I mean, it's like, okay, you can shut down a person all you want because people are people, but you can't shut the message down. And you can't hate the message. You can hate the messenger, but you can't hate the message. So, you know, the message is love and positivity.
Yes,
and pride. Self-worth, you know what I mean? Know it, y'all. Regardless of race or age or gender or sexual preference, it really doesn't even matter. All it comes down to is we are all a me.
Right.
Everyone has a me. You know who me is.
Right.
Me is you. So love that and be proud of it.
And that's what How to Be Real is about. That's How to Be Real. Thank you for joining us today at Radio Soul on the you know,
we are Soul Collective, y'all.
Yeah, we are Soul Collective. And make sure to, if you want to comment, tell us your thoughts. Please ask us questions.
Definitely.
We would love to answer. Check us out on Periscope now.
Yeah, we just made a Periscope.
Right. Matter of fact, I'm about to pull it up. Hey. Okay, hold on, wait. So, how do we do this? Okay.
We're new to this, y'all.
We are new to this and true to this. Live at Soul Collective. Start. Okay. And we are live. We're on air.
We're signing out for the podcast right now.
Right. We are telling the listeners to check us out on Instagram. I am at justsay_Tay.
And I'm Tasha B, 2 A's, 3 E's.
Yes, and on Facebook, please like us. How to Be Real. Search How to Be Real on Facebook.
Give us that thumbs up.
Please, por favor, and definitely leave your comments. You can leave your comments and thoughts there. Always on howtobereal.wordpress.com, of course. Some good, great, juicy articles in there. Get some self-loving chicken soup for the soul up in there.
Yeah, baby.
Right? But, yeah, signing out, man.
Signing out. Peace. Thanks, Anna and Estella.
Whoop, whoop. Anna and Estella.
Hey, Anna and Estella. What?